In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts glued upon their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers, and man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Dark Souls. My name is King's Ransom, and I am here to once again guide you through the end of an age. So Dark Souls was the first of the Let's Plays that I did on my channel not so long ago, when I was starting up. I'm doing it again, because I love this game. It's awesome, it's fantastic. It is just one of my all-time favorite games. But we're going to be doing an actual complete, like, more comprehensive playthrough. Last time I played the game... Okay, first things first. Hang on. Bear with me for just a moment. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, we're gonna do it this way. Last time I played through the game, it was... like, I skipped a bunch of stuff, and I was playing as a Faith character, which I'd never done before. So, it was a bit disjointed and not... good. So, maybe even a bit more background beyond that. Dark Souls 2, pretty good game. Sequel to this one. Just didn't actually mean to rest there, that's okay. It's a sequel to this one. It's, you know, it's a game. And then there's 3 pieces of DLC they've said they will be coming out with for Dark Souls 2. Three pieces of DLC themed around, crowns. And the Crown of the Sunken King, the first one, by the way, look at that demon up there. Look at that guy, the asylum demon. He's gonna come dropping down, but you know what? Don't really even care about him. Just... Yep. I want nothing to do with you. So the first DLC, the Crown of the Sunken King, has come out. The other 2 have not yet come out in my current timeline. I'm sure in the future, whatever's going on in your time, you're probably watching this on, like, 4-dimensional virtual reality goggles in your flying car. Oh man, I hope you have jetpacks in your time. That would be really cool. Anyway, game, the other 2 DLCs have not come out yet. The other 2 batches of downloadable content. So, I don't know, I kind of want to wait for those to come out before I play through Dark Souls 2 again on camera. Or just at all in general in life. So, I'm going to play through Dark Souls 1, start to finish, and we're going to do the DLC here, because I haven't actually shown off the Artorias of the Abyss Prepare to Die edition DLC content stuff for this game, whatever that's called. Haven't shown it off yet, want to do it, want to talk about it, want to talk about the lore. So, talking about the lore of the Dark Souls universe, and, you know, the... Artorias of the Abyss DLC is a part of that. And just, like, that's kind of one of my driving goals here. So I'm going to start this playthrough in between .hack Infection and .hack Mutation in my time. And they're going to... The second game, Mutation, will be overlapping with this playthrough a fair bit. So don't worry about that. You don't have long to wait for the next .hack. If you are one of those people watching in real time. So yeah, I want to play through this, and then I want to do a complete playthrough of Dark Souls 2 again, and then that one will roll into the DLC of Dark Souls 2. Hopefully at least the first 2 crowns. You know, the Crown of the Sunken King obviously is already out, as I mentioned, but hopefully the second DLC I'll be able to play as well, and maybe even the third by the time I get done with all that. So that's kind of a rough look at my plan. Insofar as I ever adhere to my plans, we'll see how that works out. But, there it is. So, Dark Souls. In the event that you don't know what this is, it is a cultural phenomenon. It is amazing. So this is a third-person action-y RPG from a company called From Software. They are Japanese. The game is published by Namco Bandai, or Bandai Namco, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves these days. Also, really quick, out of curiosity, Heater Shield, 100% physical damage reduction. That's awesome. And it is one of my all-time favorite games. It's just a damn good game. Like, it's really, really good. It's known for being punishingly, brutally difficult to play. Though I don't necessarily agree with that. It is challenging, but I think it's challenging because it's so different from any other video game. Like, it's just a radically different game from what most people are used to. I like to think it's known for kind of its uncaring systems. The game doesn't care about you. You are not special. You are not a beautiful and unique snowflake. Just, you don't matter. You are one of 1,000 undead who has been abandoned by your loved ones and your families because you're undead. You are cursed. So they lock you up and just kind of leave you there to die. And the age is ending. The world is coming to an end. And that's kind of it. And the combat is, you know, it doesn't care about you. Like, you'll see what I mean, hopefully, as we kind of get a feel for things moving forward. I love the scenery here, by the way. We're just in, like, these desolate wastelands, these mountains. There's no other sign of humanity outside of these ruined, crumbling asylums that we're at right now. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
So one of the other things that Dark Souls is known for is just about everything that you can see on the horizon and in the environments, you'll be able to visit. So, like, we'll be up on that bridge there. We will get to the top of the castle wall up here to our right, like this kind of fortressy wall. We'll get to the city that was, you know, up at the top of the mountain there. Like, we will see all that stuff, and it'll be really, really cool when we get there. Okay, so this is Firelink. Apologies if you watched my other Let's Play or any other Let's Play, or if you've played the game before, because I'm going to be a bit explainy, especially in these first few videos. So this is Firelink. This is going to be our hub world. There are a lot of items just kind of strewn about here that I'm going to collect really quickly. I have decided, you know, I want to talk about the lore. So a couple of kind of my goals for this. I want to talk about a lot of the lore. A lot of kind of the backstory and the stories of the inhabitants that we'll be encountering in this world. Like Petrus of Thornland here, who we're going to talk to real quick. I'm going to skip his dialogue. It's not particularly interesting.
Hello there.
At first he says his name, and then he says go away. But if we don't go away, he's like, oh, haha, just kidding. Here, have a copper coin. No harm, no foul. Talk to him again. Hey, you want to join my covenant? Yes, but no. I did a test video, so I've gotten the first handful of achievements here. But I'm playing on PC kind of for the first time. So most of the achievements in the game I don't have yet. So we'll be unlocking a lot of these as we go. And yeah, so I want to do the lore. I want to do a lot of the side quests of that are related to the folks that we'll encounter. Specifically the Knight Solaire. I want to do his side quest, his whole storyline. See it through to completion. Hopefully see a positive outcome, like get him to actually live through that whole thing, which is not super tough to do, but like you have to be conscious of it and you have to kind of know what you're doing. Siegmeyer of Katarina, the Onion Knight, I want to do his side quest as well. So that'll be another one on my list of things that I want to accomplish. Let's get away from those skeletons real quick, although they are going to chase me to the ends of the earth. So let's keep sprinting here. Yeah, so just I have some goals. I'm going to be playing a strength-based character. I'm going to be going with a build that I'm actually fairly comfortable and familiar with. So we'll get into that as we get going. Generally, I'm going to be using... I kind of have two main weapons that I want to be using. We're going to reset those enemies real quick, by the way. So resting at the bonfire causes all the enemies in the area to respawn, which means those skeletons that were chasing me have now been reset and will leave me alone. It also refills all of our Estus flasks and puts us back at full health and all that stuff. So leveling up real quick, I'm Sorry, I'm going to be bouncing all over the place in this first video. Just bear with me. Flood of information. Mute me if you have to. Stats. Strength is going to be super important. I'm playing the warrior because I like the warriors starting... I like that they start with a hat. It gives us a little bit of poise. And I like that they start with 13 dexterity, and then otherwise, you know, like the faith and intelligence are low, because I don't care about those at all. Not going to be using any spells. That's kind of a goal of mine. I might give us a 2 points into attunement later, and maybe do a single pyromancy, just so we have some sort of ranged thing that we can do, but most likely not. I'm going to try to avoid that. So, stats. The important ones. Vitality's HP, that might be important, but that's like a tertiary stat. Like that, if that comes into play at all, it'll be much, much, much later in the game. Endurance is going to be absolutely crucial. I want to raise our endurance a lot because that's going to increase the amount of stamina that we have, which is our ability to block and dodge and you know, do things. You need stamina to do anything in this game. And then equipment load also raises with your endurance, and that is how much gear you can equip. And that is going to be important because the weapons and armor and things that I want to equip are unbelievably heavy. So in order to wear heavy things, or hold heavy things, and still be able to like move and function, you need a really high equip load. So that will be important to me going forward as well. Dexterity, it's at 13. I'm thinking I'm probably not ever going to touch it again. Resistance just boosts your physical defense and your poison resistance. Poison resistance is not important. Just don't get hit by things that cause poison and you're fine. And then your physical defense and all your other defenses there, you know, magic and flame and lightning and stuff, those all go up when you level up anyway, regardless of what stat you increase. So, you know, raise strength to get the strength so you can do more damage, and also you get all your defenses. So, like, resistance is pretty pointless. Intelligence and faith, not going to touch those ever because those are for sorceries and miracles respectively, and I will not be using them. So, priorities. Endurance is going to be a priority. It will be a high priority when I need to like boost my equipment load or when I want to get my stamina above a certain threshold. Otherwise, all of my points are going to be going into strength. Like, just strength will correlate directly to doing more damage, so there's no reason not to pour everything we got into strength. There's a point where we hit diminishing returns around like 40 strength, and it just kind of tapers off after that point. I'm probably going to shoot for, you know, 30 or 40 before I lighten up, and then eventually, you know, I'm going to want to get to 50. Just the more strength, the better. That's kind of my motto here. Same with equipment load, the endurance. We want to get our endurance up to like 40, I think, and that's when we stop getting the stamina bar increase. I think our stamina bar will max out at some point. And then from that point on, you just get like minuscule increases to your equipment load. We're going to want to hit that point of diminishing returns and then be done with raising our endurance. Skeletons? Oh man, this is gonna suck. So these skeletons are jerks. They can inflict the bleeding status effect, which I will talk about maybe... Yeah, it's that purple bar that showed up when I blocked that attack there. Ooh, yeah. If that purple bar fills up all the way, basically we die. Although I'm gonna die here. Ooh, nope. Okay, good. Basically, you take like 30% of your maximum HP in damage from that bar filling up. Like, that is you bleeding out. Is just, you take a huge spiky chunk of damage, which is really bad. So I don't want to have these enemies bleed me out. So, man, this weapon is just garbage. There we go. Woof. Okay. This is irritating. Let's kill a couple more skeletons, though. This guy I should hopefully be able to kick off the cliff. Just like that. Now we only have to deal with one. I can deal with one skeleton at a time, okay. Especially if they do stuff like that. Are you stuck? No, you're coming up here. Oh, well, that's okay, too. If you hit them with strong attacks like that, you can see that it kind of stuns them as they fall apart and have to reform themselves. Certain weapons are really handy, like the club. Like if you're playing as the Deprived as your starting class, you start with a club, and the club is awesome because you could like send them flying and scatter their bones, and it takes them a fair bit of time to reassemble. Our longsword doesn't really have that same effect. That's okay though. There's more of them all over the place and a lot of items. I'm not going to be going for a lot of those. I have one goal. There's one item that I'd like to get real quick, and in fact, you know what? We're just going to go for it right now. So, no more point in fighting all these guys. The souls they give are negligible. I really don't care. And then once we're inside the catacombs here, right now, at some point, there we go, right there, the catacombs. These skeletons are all immortal. There's a necromancer in here. There's actually a whole bunch of necromancers, and the necromancers keep these skeletons alive. So even if we kill them, they will revive a moment later with full HP, and just do that indefinitely until we kill the necromancer. First necromancer's right here. However, we're going to ignore him and the bonfire. I'm invincible while I'm in this little lever pushing animation, so we'll just... that. Hopefully not get murdered here. That lever opened the gate. Oh man, see it. Skeleton City. Okay. This is going to be ballsy what I'm going for here, but hopefully I can pull it off. It opened the gate, it let us get out here. There's a good chance that I'm just going to die right now. Just want to dodge past these guys. I want to fall down right here. Oh no, I want to fall, not get knocked off the edge. That's okay. I was expecting to die there. This is a fairly tricky thing to do, and there were a lot of skeletons right behind me. And I got hit. That was just a bad start. We're going to give it like maybe 1 or 2 more tries and see if I can get this. There is an alternate solution. I could go get a divine weapon, and the divine weapon would let me kill the skeletons without having to deal with the necromancer first. I would like to avoid that though, because I don't have the stats to wield a divine weapon properly, so it would be like a really, really slow and painful process. I mean, you saw how bad it was for me to kill those skeletons up here. It would be like that, except with a crappier weapon. And then, you know, we could go kill the first necromancer and kill all those skeletons, and then have to deal with the next necromancer, and blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to do that. That's boring. So we're going to shoot for doing this the ballsy way first. A couple more times. The risky way. High risk, high reward, because if it works out, it's a super awesome run. Like, it's a really awesome run if it works out. I should probably mention, I know I started out as the warrior, and I started out with a whole big set of equipment earlier, and then I unequipped all of it but the helmet. The helmet is the only piece in the warrior starting set that actually gives poise. There we go, made it. No, no, no! No explosion. Oh boy. I can't believe I lived through that. I can't believe I lived through that. Holy cow. Okay, cool. That's the tough part. We just bypassed like 2/3 of the catacombs here. This is the next tough part, and the last tough part. I have to deal with this guy. And this guy's a jerk, and he could probably one-shot me if he feels like it. So hopefully he doesn't. We have to get around him and grab an item back here. Oh boy. And then we have to get past him again. Without dying. Damn it. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Gonna give it one more shot. If you're lucky, when I was doing my test recording, I ran this a couple times. I had trouble getting down there a couple times. I managed to get past him a couple times. I even managed to get past him, grab the item, and then get back, and then got killed like on my way out. And then I was successful at doing this twice out of like maybe six attempts or so. 7 attempts probably. So it's doable. It's tricky. It's tough, and if his AI, if he decides to just screw with you, then there's not much you can do about it at this low level. Anyway, so yeah, I equipped all my gear, all my my armor, other than the hat. The hat gives poise, none of the other pieces do. So that'll maybe give me chances to, like, perform actions without getting interrupted. That's what poise does. I'll talk about it more later, probably, maybe. And the whole point of that was to put myself in the light movement tier. So, like I said, your stamina, or your endurance, rather, adjusts how much weight, like what your weight capacity is. And there's certain thresholds. So if you're below 50%, then you move, kind of average speed, and it's okay, and you can dodge and whatnot. I'm in the lightest threshold, so I have that really light, flippy roll there that I'm doing a lot, which has a lot of invincibility frames, which is, like, the most important aspect of this whole thing. Oh, boy! Oh, man, that skeleton almost screwed me. That's okay. We have the death eyes, or the eyes of death, so we might not have to tango with this guy, actually. And that would be really sweet. And so then taking off all the rest of that gear let me be in the lightest armor, or the lightest movement tier, while still being able to use my weapon and shield. And this coffin is what we're after. Yeah, and he's not going to come after me. This is awesome. So the issue with this guy is, when I'm in this coffin, he can randomly, occasionally kill me with one hit when I'm in the coffin. Most attacks will not be able to hit me. If there were like a skeleton or something here attacking me, the skeleton would not be able to hurt me at all. But that guy right there, that faceless Titanite demon, absolutely could. So I'm glad it worked out this way. It took me 3 tries. I rather would have done it in, 1 or 2 tries, but that's okay. And yes, we're just laying in a coffin. And now we are locked into the coffin forever. So that's it. Trapped in the coffin. You're buried alive. So this has been Dark Souls. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you in my next Let's Play. Yeah, not quite. Somebody actually moves the coffin, which is kind of a weird thing, but, okay. So we're in the Tomb of the Giants. And in fact, we're in a very particular room in the Tomb of the Giants. If you have played this game before, and more importantly, if you've, beaten Dark Souls, you should recognize this room. We are interested in the creepy, moving mass of tentacle bones with that giant sword sticking out there in this sarcophagus. This is the sarcophagus of the Gravelord. That's Gravelord Nito. He has a covenant, and we will join this covenant. This is one of the only... I guess we're going to join 3 covenants before this is over. Yeah, I think we're going to end up joining 3 covenants. So, Gravelord Sword. That is an important thing, and that's basically why we're here. We had to get the Eyes of Death, those 3 Eyes of Death that were on the corpse behind the Titanite demon. You have to have an Eye of Death before he'll allow you to join a covenant. That was another person. That freaked me out a little bit. We can nestle in the coffin and go back. I'm just going to go ahead and use a homeward bone. This will take us all the way back to Firelink. We could potentially go try to fight Pinwheel, the boss of the Catacombs. I don't think it's worth it. In fact, I'm just going to say it's not worth it right now. That would be maybe a bit too tough for me, where we're at. So that's okay. This all worked out. This worked out just fine. What else do we want to do? There's one other suicide run thing that I want to do here. Real quick. And then after I do this, we'll go ahead and wrap up the video, I think. This will be a good little first video here. By the way, so while we're on the elevator going down, the Gravelord's sword, beefy, huge chunk of damage. It inflicts toxic as a status effect. It weighs 10 units, which is super heavy. Really, really good weapon. Requires 13 dexterity, which is why I started as a warrior, and 24 strength. If we get up to 16 strength, which we're only 1 off, we could wield it with both hands successfully. And right now I don't have the strength to even do that. So that's kind of what we're going to shoot for. It's really heavy, so I'm not going to be actually equipping it for a while, because I like being in my really light movement tier here. All of these hollows, they don't give you much in the way of souls. They're just the same ones that are in the asylum. Yeah, 20 souls, so they're not really worth fighting. Although, I think... Did I just skip an item? I think there's an item back up here. No, I grabbed that. Okay, good. Making sure I grabbed that. Like I said, this is going to be a one-way trip, and I'm not going to be coming back down here for a little while. We could go to Valley of the Drakes. We could go get the Dragon Crest shield, which is a 100% shield. If you're starting as, like, the Deprived or one of the other classes that doesn't get a good shield, that would be probably your earliest access to a 100% physical damage reduction shield, which is good. That's a good thing to have. These transient curses are useful. The weapon that I picked up I'm not going to be using. Also, if we go into Valley of the Drakes, we could get into Blighttown and go, like, directly to the Blighttown boss and ring the second of the 2 Bells of Awakening. Like, that's a thing we could do real quick and easy. I'm not going to do all that. I want to do the game mostly in order. I don't want these ghosts to kill me yet. I want to get that item right there, and this is going to be our suicide run. This item, and then just let the ghosts kill me. Yeah. Yep, just like that. Yep, slit my throat. Ground me, whatever you gotta do. Just, there we go. Valley of the Drakes, we could go through that, and we could get to the Darkroot Basin, like the forest. We could go directly to the parish and skip, like get to the first Bell of Awakening really, really quick. Skip the Undead Burg and all that. Again, not going to do that. Going to do things more or less in order. So that's my first big sequence break there, was getting the Gravelord sword. I will do one other sequence break later. And I'll point out when that happens. That's going to be much later. It's going to be after ringing the 2 bells, so it's going to be after Blighttown. And I'm probably, yeah, well, you'll see. So I just used that item that we got there that I did the suicide run for. It was a Firekeeper soul. I gave it to that Firekeeper down there. She's kind of linked to this fire and keeping it alive. It's tied to her own soul, her humanity, if you will. And we gave her the other Firekeeper soul to boost our Estus Flask. So now you see it says we have 10 Estus Flask plus 1. That plus 1 means that it will restore much more HP than it would otherwise. That's really, really awesome. So yeah, I think this is a decent place to end this video. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you all for joining me, and may the grace of the Twilight Dragon be with you.